What's up mga kuya, welcome back to the channel, and today I have with me is the Oukitel C21 for an unboxing and first impressions video. And of course, after 2 weeks as usual, I'm going to be making a full review of this. So most likely most of you haven't heard of the brand Oukitel. So they're a company based at China and they mainly make smartphones, budget smartphones to be specific. And also take note that this is not a sponsored video. Oukitel didn't send me this. I actually bought this with my own money and I was able to buy it for around 6,000 pesos, which of course is in the budget price segment. So take note, that's my opinion when it comes to price points. Anything below 10,000 pesos or under $200 is a budget smartphone, at least for me. So yeah, today I have with me is the Oukitel C21, and one thing that was actually off or I didn't like about the packaging is yeah, it doesn't have a seal, which is kind of scary in a way, but yeah. So what I got is the black color option, and this is also available in a ocean blue and neon purple option. And the main specs that you need to know about the Oukitel C21 is that this has a 6.4-inch Full HD LTPS LCD display. So while technically this is also an LCD display, it's not an IPS display, which basically means that it is capable, an LTPS display is actually capable of outputting a higher resolution but degrades faster over time. So like with OLED displays, you might see some like artifacting maybe after a year or two, but hopefully this lasts longer than that. So this has a MediaTek Helio P60. Yep, this is a MediaTek Helio P60, 4 gigs of memory, 64 gigs of storage, a quad camera setup with a 16 megapixel main sensor, a 20 megapixel front facing camera, 4000 mAh battery, USB Type-C, and a fingerprint scanner, and pretty much complete with all the sensors that you might need. So yeah, for now, let's go ahead and unbox this. Okay, so this looks like the paperwork and shit, the warranty card, a quick user guide, warranty certificate, yeah, user manual. Due to limitation of aviation safety on battery power only at 30%. Okay, so this currently has 30% charge out of the factory. So let's set this aside for now. And here we have the phone itself. And one thing that I forgot to mention, so this is again a 6.4-inch LCD display, LTPS, with actually a hole punch. So at this price, at 6,000 pesos, that's actually pretty good. So you have a 19:9 aspect ratio, again an octa-core chipset, which is the MediaTek Helio P60, 4000 mAh battery, and the regular 10 watts of charging. That is not fast charging, but it's kind of like the norm these days. Fingerprint scanner and a Face ID feature apparently. So the phone is actually already in the soft clear TPU case, so I believe this is the fingerprint scanner, and this is actually the first time that I'm hearing of this feature. So it has a matrix camera. I'm not sure what that does, so let's take off this protective shiz. So for now, we'll set the phone aside and let's see what else is in the box. So SIM ejector tool, charging brick with a European plug, and the USB Type-C cable. So surprisingly, for 6,000 pesos, this actually has USB Type-C. Wow! So yeah, this is the phone itself, and let's take it out of the case real quick. Pahirapan ka. So if I'm not mistaken, this actually has a plastic back, or the main frame of the phone, of course, which you would expect at this price. So just a quick overview of the design of the phone. So here we have on the right side a power button and the volume rockers, which actually feel okay. They're not the clickiest, but you know, they're okay. At the left side, we have the SIM card tray. At the top, I believe we actually have an IR blaster, so I'm not sure. I'm going to confirm that. And at the bottom of the phone, wait, what? So actually, to my surprise, this actually doesn't have a headphone jack. So yeah, at the bottom, we do have the main microphone, USB Type-C, and the single bottom firing speaker. So this is actually the first time that I've seen a budget smartphone without a 3.5mm jack. But yeah, moving on to the back, so we have the Oukitel branding here at the bottom left corner, and of course at the top left side we have the quad camera setup, again with the 16 megapixel main sensor, a 2 megapixel macro lens, 2 megapixel depth sensor, and the last 2 megapixel lens and auxiliary lens. I'm not sure what that does. Of course, the single LED flash and the fingerprint scanner. And again at the front we have the 6.4-inch LTPS LCD display with a hole punch for the 20 megapixel front facing camera. And of course at the top we have the earpiece speaker grill. So let's go ahead and boot this. if it has a charge. Yeah, it does have charge. Oukitel.com. Okay, that's really bright. So this does have a max brightness of 450 nits and it's actually charged at 91% mga kakuya. Medyo scamas yun dun sa user guide. And of course, like budget smartphones with a hole punch for the front-facing camera, the lighting around it is actually uneven. So of course, at a distance, you won't really notice it, but it's really noticeable when you get up close. But of course, you can't really complain at this price. So after setting up my Google account, this is how the UI looks, and for the most part, it's fairly snappy, of course, considering this is a brand new phone. Also with a solid chipset, I would expect this to be really snappy. Also with 4 gigs of memory, I'm expecting this to handle a bit of multitasking. So for the most part, the UI actually looks clean. I'm not sure if this is stock Android. I've been using skinned phones for a while. And actually don't know how stock Android looks, but yeah, for now I'll install some apps, some games, and test out the camera and come back to you guys in a bit.
1 hour later.
At nagbabalik na nga po tayo mga kuya with the Oukitel C21, and so far this is a really good and really impressive budget smartphone. I mean, if you gave this to me and let me use it for quite a bit, I wouldn't expect this to cost 6,000 pesos mga kakuya. And regarding the overall user experience, just browsing through the UI, switching between apps, it's been really smooth mga kakuya. I haven't had any major problems, even just rare hiccups, for example when entering and exiting an app, but no crashes, bugs, or lags so far. And regarding the SIM card tray, so this does support dual SIMs, although you only have 2 slots, so you have the option of a single nano SIM and a single micro SD card, or 2 nano SIMs. And upon inspecting the outer part of the SIM card tray, it doesn't have a rubber seal around it, so this doesn't have any type of water resistance or splash resistance. But that's okay since Oukitel didn't mention anything about it. And of course, a quick gaming test mga kakuya. So I have PUBG Mobile running right now. So while this is loading, one thing about the design is that it has a fairly thin bottom bezel or bottom chin, whatever you want to call it. And honestly, I'm quite happy with this, although if you are going to put a chin on a smartphone, then might as well use that extra space for, I don't know, maybe a notification LED, since this doesn't have a notification LED. Oy, ba't ako napasok sa match? Wait lang. So as you can see right now, here are the graphic settings for PUBG Mobile. We are currently at the HD high frame rate setting with anti-aliasing turned on and shadows turned on. And as you can see, the gameplay is really smooth for the most part. Of course, if you want to have smoother frame rates, then of course lower the graphic settings, but for the most part, this is really impressive from Oukitel. They were able to optimize the MediaTek Helio P60 that's in here really well, and no complaints so far regarding the performance, gaming performance of this phone. And yes, I actually did try running Mobile Legends here and it works just as well. And one thing that really impressed me about this phone is that it can run Genshin Impact mga kakuya. And as you can see mga kuya, we are running Genshin Impact on the Oukitel C21, and while it's not the smoothest experience, it's quite playable for the most part, and no complaints mga kakuya, considering you're spending 6,000 pesos on a smartphone and it can run something like Genshin Impact, which is actually meant for smartphones that are 3 to 4 times more expensive than the Oukitel C21. So yeah, really impressive. So if you want to game, if you want to have a really good gaming experience for less than 6,000 pesos or at 6,000 pesos, then yeah, go ahead and get the Oukitel C21. Although yeah, this is the unboxing and first impressions of this. I'm really impressed so far with the gaming performance and overall user experience and performance of the Oukitel C21. And here's a quick speaker test. So while loudness is average, overall sound quality is actually good, and it does get a bit distorted at max volume. So like with my unboxing and first impressions video, I won't actually comment on the camera quality, but here are a few test shots from the Oukitel C21. And of course mga kuya, the usual features that you will see in any Android 10 smartphone. Of of course a split screen multitasking, 3-finger swipe to take a screenshot, double tap the power button to open the camera app, and so far I see no feature to double tap the screen to wake the device. Regarding software, it doesn't seem to have an app drawer and there's actually no option for that in the home screen settings. But of course, kakalikutin ko pa to mga kakuya para sa ating full review in after 2 weeks. And regarding bloatware, it actually comes pre-installed with 2 to 3 apps, which I guess are from Oukitel, and you can't actually uninstall them, but yeah, I'm not really complaining so far. Setting up the fingerprint scanner is quick and straightforward for the most part, but I guess the only thing that I don't like about the fingerprint scanner is that it's actually located in a weird position. If I'm not mistaken, that was the Galaxy S8 that also had a fingerprint scanner that was not centered, since this is the usual place where our index finger would rest, mga kakuya. So it is kind of awkward reaching for that fingerprint scanner in the top left corner. It's accurate for the most part, but not the fastest. But yeah, I'm not really complaining. It does have a fingerprint scanner even at this price. And actually, compared to something like my Realme C3, which is about the same price as this is not as feature-packed as my Realme C3, but of course I'm not complaining since this is a really well-optimized phone. No major complaints again, mga kakuya. But I guess one thing so far that I really don't like about this is the glossy plastic back. So I think for the 2 weeks that I'm going to be using this, of course I'm going to be putting in my SIM card and micro SD card in here. I'm going to be using the soft clear TPU case that came with it because I feel like the back part of this, or the main frame of the phone, scratches easily. And if I didn't mention it already, it is a fingerprint magnet, mga kakuya. And like I mentioned earlier, no headphone jack. And it turns out pala, mga kakuya, this is not an IR blaster, but a light and distance sensor, which again, I'm not sure what's it for, but yeah, I'll get into that in my full review of this. So for the people who want to play a lot of mobile games on their smartphone, on a budget, then yeah, right now I can easily recommend this. Again, at 6,000 pesos, mga kakuya. So yeah, I think I didn't forget anything so far. Anything I forget to say in this video will be in the description or comments of this video, and also in my full review, of course. So that's my unboxing and first impressions of the Oukitel C21. Also my first time owning a smartphone from Oukitel. Of course, if you guys want to buy this right now, then I'll leave the link in the description. If you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Of course, mga kakuya, bookmark and use my Shopee affiliate link if you're buying anything at Shopee. Also, donate to my PayPal to support the channel. Watch me on my Shopee lives where I talk about random shiz, mga kakuya. Like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter for other updates and announcements. Thanks for watching, mga kakuya, and of course, as always, stay safe, stay indoors, stay healthy, get some sunlight and get some exercise. Drink your vitamins, especially vitamin C, mga kakuya. Stay COVID-free nga lang po, and peace out muna.